Hey guys, hope you're all doing well out there. Wanted to share a brief channeled message with you all related to heartbreak, the lesson of heartbreak, okay? Spirit has been quite loud about this message. Now there's a few things to consider before we jump in. First, we must understand that every single human being, no matter race, socioeconomic status, culture, background, doesn't matter if you're alive and you're a human, you will experience this lesson. And it is the lesson of loss and the lesson of love. So the scale and the degree to which we experience those lessons is dependent on the generational wounds that we signed up to basically heal, is also dependent on the karma that you have to resolve in this lifetime, and it's also dependent on the journey that you essentially agreed to experience with different people on the earth, okay, that have crossed paths with you in your life. So there's two lessons that we will always experience, not repetitively per se, but it's going to happen at least once in our life: the lesson of loss and the lesson of love. Now, with the lesson of love, it doesn't always necessarily need to be romantic, but we're going to learn that lesson. Same with the lesson of loss. It doesn't always necessarily need to be related to the loss of a loved one through death, okay? Loss can be losing material things, losing a job, losing an identity, okay? You're going to take it how it resonates based on your situation. But specifically for this message, we're going to talk about the lesson of heartbreak. So with the lesson of heartbreak, you will know, because heartbreak is a very difficult experience to go through. It can be very mentally and emotionally debilitating, and everyone is going to have the scale to which they experience that lesson. But the lesson of heartbreak specifically, we are going to learn that after the fact, either we're being led to not feel guilty about moving on, or we're being led to lean more into emotions and vulnerability, or both. For some people specifically, when you experience the lesson of heartbreak, could be heartbreak from a relationship, could be heartbreak from friends, from family, it doesn't matter, fit it to your situation. You've had a lesson of heartbreak in your life. If you've already had this lesson, okay, what did you discover after that? You probably learned a lot about yourself, about your self-worth, about your needs, about who you are, maybe about other people, how to move through life, right? But what else could you have realized? Not to feel guilty to move on, or it's okay to open your heart. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be emotional. Maybe that heartbreak, that lesson of heartbreak, was because you weren't emotional to begin with. You weren't vulnerable to begin with. And I think that sort of stems with how you identify as well, based on your lesson. Are you a divine masculine or are you divine feminine? Where do you lean in that energy scale? Are you being guided to be more open to emotions, or are you being led to sort of not feel like you have to be overly open, but instead sort of place boundaries around who you are, to the point where you no longer feel guilty about moving on? This is coming through because I am getting that some people have been feeling guilty about heartbreak, and I know that I felt that myself many times before. Something ends and you wonder if it's going to happen again, but then you realize that you don't need to feel guilty for moving on, because that was the soul experience that happened. And if you are going to move on, you need to allow yourself the time now to be able to do that without feeling like you owe someone else an explanation, or that you owe them the space to come back in the future, because whatever's meant for you to begin with is going to flow into your reality. This is just like default. So if someone is meant to be in your life, they will return. But the point is we don't hold out for that, because when you've experienced a lesson of heartbreak, you have to realize that there's a place and a space now that is inviting you to lean into unconditional love, but also lean into who you are, your character, your values, what's important to you, because we're not getting any younger, right? And so we learn the importance, the value of invested relationships, people who want to invest in us emotionally, right? People who want to show that they're interested in us beyond the physical, people that put in the time, that where words and actions align. And so you will all find where you feel more resonant in that situation, but there's definitely a message about this. Are you being guided after this heartbreak lesson to lean more into your emotions, to be more vulnerable? Don't close your heart off because of that experience. You might need to do that for a little bit, and that's kind of the process of grief, the stages of grief after something ends in your life, and that's totally okay. But after the fact, can you allow your heart to open up now to the possibility to welcome new love, to welcome new opportunities, to welcome whatever has left your life, whatever has been lost, to now be replaced with better? And similarly, the other scale of that is, can you allow yourself to not feel bad about now moving on from something that caused you heart pain? You know, give it the space, if you truly believe it's meant for you, to prove that it's meant to be in your life. Let the divine prove that to you. Surrender. And this is kind of what happens after a heartbreak, is the need to surrender, to lean into the unknown and not fear the future. Because I guarantee you, if you've gone through something, no matter what that is for you, no matter how traumatic, wounding, mentally and emotionally debilitating, because I know I've gone through those times myself. I've gone through those times of having begged, but having also cried so much, not wanting to be alive because of that experience. It's hard. And I might not be able to understand all of you guys' situations specifically, but I have gone through the lesson of heartbreak. I've gone through the lesson of loss. This is a lesson that every human being will experience. And I know that it's not easy. It takes time. It takes time. Years for so many people. We're on year 6 for me, and I know that it's still something that I have to consciously be aware of, to allow myself after this loss to open up my heart to new experiences, but to also open up the possibility of no longer feeling guilty for wanting to pursue what resonates with me emotionally and mentally, right? Physically, however that is for you. So, nose itch for the confirmation there. I've got a few channel messages to share with you guys that I recorded today, but I'm actually going to share them one at a time so I don't overwhelm you guys with these messages, so you can take some time to really soak the message in. Let me know if this message resonates with you at all, and if you've experienced heartbreak, the lesson of heartbreak yet. What did that teach you? Let your light fam know in the comments below what the lesson of loss and heartbreak has taught you, so we can all grow together. And I'm sending you guys all so much love and light. All right, if you want to book a psychic reading with me, you can do so by clicking the link in my bio. You can only book through my Calendly. It's my calendar suite. You can't book anywhere else, you guys. I don't DM and I don't email, as per usual. Stay tuned for the next message and make sure your notifications are on. Love and light.